Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, and here I am once again with another interesting English lesson, and today's lesson is based on writing short compositions on different topics. We're going to focus on the features associated with simple compositions. Let's take a look at this description. Malinder speaks about his best friend Callum. When Malinder was asked to write about his friend Callum, this is what he has written. Shall we read it and see what information Malinder has included in this description? Observe very carefully. My best friend. My best friend is Callum. He is 16 years old. He is fair in complexion. He is a silent and well-mannered boy. We sit, study, and play together, and we share our meals with each other. We help each other in our studies. I love him very much because he is a friend in need and a friend indeed. Right. I just want to remind you that this is one of the questions you come across in your O-level examination paper, where you are expected to write a short description on a given topic using 50 words. Therefore, you have to be very careful what you include in the description. Right. Let me tell you about the features or the main characteristic of a composition. Writing a simple composition. Look at these main words, the three parts in one paragraph: introduction, details, and conclusion. When I say introduction, it is in a way a restatement of the topic. This is where you introduce your topic. Therefore, this particular section should be short and it should lead to the main point. Right? So you simply write one or two sentences here, and then you slowly move to the second part of your paragraph, and there you include more details, and this we can call the body of the paragraph. What you include here is the features of who you describe or what place you describe. Right? Remember, more details. And then comes the conclusion. You definitely have to conclude your paragraph in a wonderful manner so that you can write a complete description. In conclusion, it is actually a short statement, in other words, a summary of what you have said in the introduction as well as in the body of your composition. Right. Look at the same paragraph one more time. I have divided that paragraph into three sections. The first section, you see only 3 sentences, and these 3 sentences introduce the friend. My best friend is Callum. He is 16 years old. He is fair in complexion. He is a silent and well-mannered boy. Fine. Now, in the body of the composition, we have more details. You know that these two are close friends. You can look at the picture, and also he says he's my best friend. Right? You know that this friend is special when you call the friend a best friend. Right? See now what Malinder has written more about this friend. He's saying what they do together as close friends. We sit, study, and play together, and we eat and share a meal with each other. We help each other in our studies. Introduction. Okay, he has introduced his friend, his name, how old he is, how he looks. And then slowly he's adding more details, telling us what they do together. And finally, he's putting everything together and completing his paragraph in a very wonderful manner. He says, I love him very much because he is a friend in need and a friend indeed, because we do all these activities together. Right? I reminded you at the beginning of this lesson that usually when this particular question is asked in your question papers, you are expected to write only 50 words. Therefore, Please remember that you do not include unnecessary details. Right, let's move on to another section. Right, the previous description was about a person. And what do you see here? It's a different topic. The place where I live. So here also, I'm not going to give you any activities. I just want you to observe, to read this paragraph and try to understand the three different characteristics I mentioned earlier. Introduction, body and conclusion. Remember, it is in the body you are including more details. Let's read it. I live in Imbulgoda. It is a village surrounded by paddy fields. Imagine the picture now. Imbulgoda is a calm and quiet village in Gampaha district. The environmental pollution is less. People live happily here. My school is also in my village. So here you can clearly see how more details are included in the second paragraph. And then comes the conclusion, like in the previous paragraph. Here also we say, I love the place where I live because everywhere is green and rich with fresh air. So we are making a connection to what we have already said. We said it's a calm and quiet village. When you say a village, obviously you know that it's going to be clean, less pollution, and also people live happily there. Therefore, the person who's writing about this place is wonderfully connecting all those ideas and coming to the conclusion. Right, so you have read two different paragraphs and now it is your activity time. Look at the screen now. Can you write a paragraph about this setting using the given words as much as possible? There are so many words here. Don't worry, I'm also going to do my work from this end and I want you to do your work from that end. See whether you can write a description based on this picture using these keywords. I can help you with the words. We have the word cold, freezing, snowy, icy bright, white, alone, quiet, beautiful, strong, fast, dangerous, chilly, remote, breathtaking. Remember, look at the word chilly and observe the spelling. It is not the chili you use in cooking. It is actually the feeling. You feel cold. That is chilly. Right. Now I'll leave it here for some time and it's time for you to build your sentences and your paragraph. Hope you're done with the work. Let's check what I have written and see whether you can find any similarities between my paragraph and your paragraph. Right, so I have highlighted the words I have chosen from the keywords in red. You can see whether you also have used the same words. Right, this is a picture of a polar bear. You know polar bears? Huge white creatures, cuddly and cute. It is a large, beautiful animal. It is also called white bear. They are strong and run fast. It is a quiet animal but dangerous. It lives in the Arctic where the climate is cold and freezing. You must have experienced cold but not freezing, I guess. It lives alone in the snowy region. You know, the Arctic region is cold. This region looks icy bright. Now we are focusing on the image of that particular region, which is white and bright and breathtaking. So this region looks icy bright and breathtaking. Okay, you must have observed the spellings, the adjectives I have used, the punctuations I have used. Remember, you have to keep all this in mind when you construct a simple paragraph. Even though it is short, all these matter a lot. Right, now take your textbook, page 30, and there you find this particular activity. Follow the facts given on one of the kings of Sri Lanka and write a short composition. you have details about King Buddhadasa, right? So we're going to take time to do this activity. We are going to go slow. First, you read through the facts given. You know, before constructing the paragraph, you need to construct the sentences. To construct the sentences, you have to remember the tense. Observe the facts and decide which tense you are going to use to construct your sentences. Let's see. Right, the first one. Son of King Jethatissa. How are you going to write the sentence? Right? King Buddhadasa was the son of King Jethatissa. Right? Observe the helping verb I have used. I have used was. That means I'm going to write the entire paragraph using past tense because we are talking about someone who lived long time ago. Please keep that also in mind when it comes for writing the composition. Right. Second one, Anuradhapura Kingdom. What can you say about this now? Let's take a look at that. He lived in Anuradhapura Kingdom. Third point, 4th century BC. We can combine this point with the previous one to get a better idea. So I have written it like this. He lived in Anuradhapura Kingdom during the 4th century BC. I have used the preposition during. And the next one. He was a just king. Did many meritorious deeds? Right. Simply you include the pronoun in front and you make it a complete sentence. He did many meritorious deeds. We have a few more. Good physician. Yes, you are right. He was a good physician. Cured even animals. He cured even animals. See how beautifully your sentences are coming into view. Saw a sick snake one day. He saw a sick snake one day. And the last one, operated and cured the snake. So you complete it saying he operated and cured the snake. Right? So when you focus on constructing the sentences, I told you, you have to keep in mind the tenses, spellings, punctuation marks, etc. Right. Now let's put all these sentences together and see how our paragraph looks like. This is it. Right. See whether you can find the features of the composition in this paragraph. Shall we read? King Buddhadasa was the son of King Jethatissa. He lived in Anuradhapura Kingdom during the 4th century BC. So this is what? Our introduction. Right. Let's continue reading. So here we have more details about the king. He was a just king. He did many meritorious deeds. He was a good physician. He cured even animals. All these are extra information or more details we are including in the paragraph. And then when it comes for curing animals, we are including a small incident as well. He saw a snake one day. He operated and cured the snake. Right. So I'm just leaving it like that. You find out more about King Buddhadasa and add a suitable conclusion and complete this. This is your homework. Right. Let's move on to the next section. Right. It's time now for your workbook. Please go to page 125. There you find this very question waiting for you. Write a paragraph on one of the following. Use about 50 words. This is how you get the question in your question paper as well. We have 3 different topics. My favorite book, my favorite TV program, a place of interest. I'm going to choose the first one. Let's see how we are going to work it out. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to do it on your own. I'm going to help you out. So we are going to do this work together. Right? So before writing, let's do a bit of a brainstorming. You know what brainstorming is? As soon as you look at the title, you don't start writing. You work it out, you organize the points in your mind. You decide what you're going to include, what you're not going to include, what is the most important fact and what are the least important facts. Right? Let's see how I'm going to do that. Right. This is how I'm going to plan my composition. Right? My topic is my favorite book. So what am I going to do first? I'm going to write the introduction. Right? And then the detail and the conclusion. So I need details. The first one is the name of the book. When I'm introducing the book, I'm going to say my favorite book is this. Right? So definitely I need the name. Right? And a few more details. Let's take a look at that. Right. When I say the name of the book, I definitely have to mention the name of the author as well. Right? And then to talk more about the story, the book, I'm going to focus on the theme of the story and also the characters. You know, normally when we read a storybook, these are the two important factors which stay in our mind, the main idea of the story as well as the characters. Right? And finally, in the conclusion section, I'm going to say why I like this book, why this book is my favorite book, because I introduced saying my favorite book. So then I definitely have to say why this is my favorite book, why I like it. And also, I'm going to finish my paragraph by saying how I felt, what this book made me feel at the end of reading. Right? Now see how we are going to do it. Right. So as we did earlier, I'm going to work from this end, you're going to work from your end, and I want you also to think of your favorite book and see whether you can jot down this information in your writing book. Leisurely we can put it together and write a paragraph. Name, what is the name of your favorite book and who wrote the book? What is the story about? What are the characters you can still remember? And then why do you like it? Why do you call it your favorite book? If you don't like it, you don't call it your favorite book, do you? Right. And then what I feel. Books make us feel. Right. So what this book made you feel. Right? I'll give you a few minutes. Please think about it and try to fill these blanks with those facts. Right, you can keep your facts with you. Let me show what I am going to write. Okay, so this is actually from one of my students and she's Raini. She has written about her favorite book, so I just borrowed it to show you. Right, so the favorite book is Model Doer. Raini likes Model Doer. Okay, you know that this is a very famous story, a Sri Lankan story. Who wrote it? Martin Wickramasinghe is the author. Right. So that is enough for our introduction. Right? Because I told you, you need only 50 words to write this composition. Right. And then comes the theme. What is the theme? She has written, it is an adventurous story. Therefore, the theme of this story is adventure. If you have read the book, you can also say friendship, mischief, and so on. And the characters. Who can forget these two characters? The characters are Upali and Jinnah. Right? So I can write a little bit about these two as well. And why I like it. Why does Raini like this book? It is all about the mischievous work of the two boys. Okay, that is what makes the story really interesting. Right? And it is amazing the way the story is written is really mind-blowing. Right? And finally, what does she feel? She says, I feel like being in an adventurous world. I told you, books have this power to change your mood. Right? So Raini, when she read this book, she felt like going into an adventurous world. Right? So this is how we are going to write about your favorite book as well. I hope you have collected all this information about your favorite book, right? So that also you can write leisurely. Now let's take a look at another paragraph. This is actually an answer written by one of the students for the question which appeared in last year's O-level paper. Let me read the question for you. Write a paragraph on one of the following topics. Use about 50 to 60 words. 2 topics were given: the place where I live and how I spend my free time. And here the answer is written for the second topic, that is how I spend my free time. And let's read through it and see whether we can identify the features. Right. How I spend my free time. The title itself gives you a clue that this is going to be in the simple present form. How I spend my free time. Usually, normally. Right. I do many activities when I am free. Usually, I help my mother with all the household work such as cleaning, washing, cooking, etc. I enjoy reading storybooks, especially detective stories. Sometimes I watch television programs too. I like cartoons and children's programs. Every evening I spend some time playing with my little sister. Hope you were able to identify the 3 characteristics I taught you at the beginning of the lesson: introduction, body, where you include a lot of details, and the conclusion. Right. All right, children, that's it for today. And today's lesson was based on writing short compositions based on a given topic. And remember, all the time when you get this question, you are expected to write 50 to 60 words. The words are limited. Therefore, you definitely have to organize before you start writing your paragraph. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, and until I see you once again, stay safe. Thank you.